Hi, I'm Thomas Bowles, Prince William County Agricultural Extension Agent. Welcome to our video.
Okay, well, good morning to everybody who's on the screen. This is Judith Rodriguez. I'm at Dumfries Library. I'd like to introduce to you Jess McCauley, who's going to talk to us about sprouts. I am at Dumfries Library. We have been growing some radish sprouts in our front window, and here they are. They grow quite quickly. Very gratifying to see them, and now I can have some for lunch with my salmon. I'm quite looking forward to that. And so sprouts are easy, and Jess is going to take it away and tell us about them.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're not going to wait a couple minutes.
No.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, good morning. Happy first day of July. I just want to say thanks so much for being here today to learn about how to grow your own food. So my name is Jessica McCauley, and I'm a Master Gardener Intern with Prince William County. I studied agriculture at Virginia Tech, and I have worked on a couple of different farms, and I've grown my own vegetable and flower gardens for years. So today I'll be talking about growing your own sprouts. So I have here some alfalfa, clover, radish, and mustard sprouts. You can see, they have some of the green leaves there, which means they are ready, but I'll probably wait another day to eat them. So growing your own food is a very gratifying experience. Even growing these little sprouts feels just as rewarding, and it's just as exciting to harvest as harvesting crops from a 100-acre farm. Growing your own food is healthy. It's good for the environment. And the great thing about growing sprouts is that they don't take up a lot of time or money. They're super fun and easy to grow, and they're really healthy for you. So what is a sprout? Sprouts are a really young plant that you can eat. You can think of it as like a baby plant. Sprouts are packed with nutrition, and they can be harvested and eaten really quickly, sometimes in just a few days. The amazing thing about sprouts is that you can grow them almost anywhere without any soil. All you need is water. You don't even need to worry about getting a lot of sunlight, which is great. I live in a townhouse, and I don't get a lot of sunlight here, so it's perfect for me. It takes just a few days before they're ready to eat, and once they're ready, you can eat every part. Even these little pieces called the seed hulls, you can see right there. That's, the seed hull, although some people prefer not to eat them. You do need a specific sprouting seed to grow sprouts. So make sure the packet says sprouting, so it says here sprouting seeds, grow your own organic sprouts. And these are sprouts Azuki beans. So make sure you get those specific types of seeds. And here's a list of some of the popular variety of sprouting seeds. Alfalfa is a popular choice, and mung bean sprouts are used in a lot of soups and stir fries. I tried broccoli sprouts, which I really liked. They actually smell like fresh broccoli, but they don't have a broccoli taste. They're really good, just a light, crunchy sprout. A couple of other master gardeners that I've talked to have said that sunflower seed sprouts are their favorite to use. It's a lot of fun picking the seeds and then trying new recipes with them. Eating sprouts is great for your health. Many of the nutrients that are in sprouts are actually higher than the nutrients in the fully grown versions of the same plants. People with diabetes may find that eating sprouts helps them control their blood sugar levels. Sprouts are an excellent source of calcium, potassium, magnesium, folate, beta-carotene, and vitamin K. So everyone should know why our bodies need calcium. That's a pretty obvious one. Calcium is good for our bones and teeth, strong bones and strong teeth, very important. Why is magnesium so important? That's not a really commonly known thing, but magnesium is really important for our brains. It's important for brain development, memory, and learning. Research shows that magnesium can actually help reduce stress and anxiety. I've heard a lot of people say that they take magnesium to help feel better. And then vitamin K, that's another really important one. that can help prevent heart disease. It's also important for building strong bones. So you need all of it. You need everything together. So yeah, sprouts are really healthy for you. They're really easy to grow, and there are so many different types to choose from. Here's a diagram of the parts of a seed. Did you know that seeds have belly buttons just like we do? So the hilum is the mark on the seed where it was attached to the mother plant, just like a belly button on mammals. And you might be able to see it. You can see it on bigger seeds like beans, that little white line. That's their belly button, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, some of the other seed parts I wanted to show you. The seed coat surrounding the seed, that's like the coat of armor protecting the seed from bad weather, even the stomach acids of animals who might try to eat the seed. And then the radicle, that is the first part to emerge from the seed when it sprouts. So the radicle is the first to emerge from the seed. You can also see the Cotyledon. They look like leaves, but they're not actually leaves. They are the temporary stores of the plant's initial supply of nutrients. So now I'll talk about my sprouting method. These are two containers that I used for my sprouting seeds. One is a specially made mason tops sprouting lid with a mason jar. And then the other is a plastic water bottle. So they both kind of use the same method, which I'll talk about each. First, I'll talk about the mason top sprouting lid. So these were really great. I really liked using these. They're just a few dollars, and I somehow always have these mason jars lying around the house. You can also get them at any secondhand store like Goodwill. Just make sure you wash them really good with soap and water. You can use a little bit of bleach and water to sanitize it, or you can put it in boiling water to sanitize it. So the first step, you got your clean mason jar. Get a tablespoon or so of your sprouting seeds. So these are my adzuki bean. And then pour just enough water in it so that they're completely covered, like so. And you're going to want to let them soak for 8 to 12 hours. So smaller seeds like these tiny little ones, they only need 4 to 8 hours. But these bigger ones, if you really want to soften that seed coat, you need to let it soak for 12 hours or so. So sit this in a warm, dark location. The top of my dishwasher on the counter stays nice and warm, and it's underneath the counter, so it stays nice and dark. So that's a perfect spot for me. And you let that sit for 8 to 12 hours. After it has soaked, you just pour the water out. Make sure you get it all out. Drain all the water that you can. Shake it. Get those drops out. And then you're going to want to rinse them. So rinsing them, this is kind of the same thing. You want them completely covered with the water. And you rinse them like this. So swish them around. Give them a really good rinsing. The longer you spend rinsing, the happier they'll be. And you can make this into like a little meditative. Just take a couple minutes to rinse and breathe, and don't worry about anything else. Just rinsing your seeds. After you've rinsed them for a couple of minutes, you dump the water out. Get all the water out. And then the first time that you do this, you're going to want to let it sit upside down for 15 minutes. So you only do this one time. You'll let it sit upside down on a paper towel on your counter for 15 minutes. And then all you got to do is lay it on its side in that warm, dark location and you leave it be. And then twice a day. So in the morning, I get my seed jar laying on the counter like this. Every morning, I rinse them again. So you put just enough water in so they're covered. And take a couple minutes to rinse. Swirl it around, get them good and rinsed. And then drain it. Make sure it's really well drained. And then you lay it on its side in that warm, dark location, and you leave it alone until nighttime. So at the end of the day, I do it again, twice a day. Rinse, drain, and lay it on its side. It's really easy. And like I said, it doesn't take up a whole lot of time. So, trying to change slides. Here is day 3. The seeds are starting to germinate. And you all should know what the word germinate means. They're sprouting. You can see that little sprout coming out of the seed. The seed coat broke open and a sprout is emerging. It's germinated by day 3. So that was pretty quick germination. And does anybody remember what part of the seed emerges first? Do you remember the name of that seed part that comes out? It's the radicle. The radicle is the first part of the seed that emerges. So the radicle would eventually turn into the root, but you can see that right there. That's the radicle. So then day 4, you can move this to a sunny location. They get a nice green color when they're in the sun. And you all should know what the word is for that. That's photosynthesis, right? You don't have to do this. I did not do it. My leaves are kind of a yellowish green color. If you can see, they're kind of a yellowish green, not a very dark green, but that's okay. So this is optional. You don't have to do that. Day 5, these suspicious white hairs started growing on my sprouts. So I did what every good gardener does, and I Googled it. So I Googled white fuzz on sprouts and found out that these are just cilia hairs. It's not mold. I thought it was mold. They're just cilia hairs. They're harmless, fuzzy white hairs that are developed by the roots because the sprouts weren't getting enough water. They were thirsty. So it developed these little hairs that were reaching out and trying to get water. So at this point, I let my seeds rinse a little bit longer. You know, I did the rinsing for 2 to 3 minutes and drained it really well because I didn't want them to get moldy. The difference between cilia hairs and mold, if you rinse it and it disappears, it's just the cilia hairs. But if it does not rinse away, then it's mold. And you know, if you think it's mold, don't eat it. My motto is, when in doubt, throw it out. So if you think it's mold, don't eat it. All right, so day 6. All the sprouts have 2 green leaves, which means they are ready to eat. So 2 green leaves means they are ready to eat. You can eat every part of the seed, of the sprout, but if you don't want to eat those holes, you see those brown parts, those are called the holes. You can eat them, or if you don't want to, you can fill the container with water and they'll float to the top and you can just scoop them off. So you give them a good final rinse and drain them, and then you can just pick them out of the jar and eat them on sandwiches, tacos. You can put them in smoothies, you know, do a stir fry, find a cool recipe to, you know, eat your sprouts with. You'll make sure the lid is on, make sure it's drained really well, and you need to put it in your refrigerator once they're ready to eat. And they'll last in your refrigerator for up to 5 days. But if it starts to get a smell, or if it looks slimy, don't eat it. Okay, so the plastic bottle method. I saw a couple of you have your plastic bottles. Awesome. So the plastic bottle method, this was something I haven't tried before. So it was kind of an experiment. And that's half of growing your own food. You got to experiment. You got to have fun with it. And do your research. I researched other, YouTubers and bloggers, other people who grow their own gardens to learn more. So I saw one YouTuber had grown sprouts in a plastic bottle, so I wanted to give it a shot. And it's really similar to the mason top jar method that I used. So first thing I did, I washed my bottle thoroughly. So warm water and soap. I also put a couple of drops of bleach in the bottle and filled it with water and swished it around to get it nice and sanitized because I didn't want to take any risk. Any bacteria that's in the bottle will get on your sprouts, and you don't want that. And then make sure it's really well rinsed if you do the bleach. So the next step, oh, I missed a step. Okay, so you want to give it some drainage holes. This wasn't easy, so definitely have a parent help. I used a sharp knife and I made holes in the bottle on the top and on the sides. So like I kind of did 3 sides of drainage holes. Next, you will put your tablespoon of seeds into the bottle, and you might need to get a funnel. You can make a funnel with a piece of paper, and then let them soak in water. And these smaller seeds, you only need to soak them 4 to 8 hours. And the bigger ones, like these big beans here, these need up to 12 hours. So these big ones need 8 to 12 hours of soaking in water. I didn't like using the small seeds in this because some of them escaped out of the drainage holes. So that's something you learn when you're experimenting. You make mistakes and you learn, and you know better for next time. So I would recommend using these bigger bean seeds like mung beans, adzuki beans, if you want to do sprouts in a water bottle. So yeah, the ventilation holes, you soak it, okay, and then you want to drain it out completely and let it sit on its side. Rinse and drain twice a day, leave it on its side in a warm, dark location. So I was surprised to see that one of the seeds germinated less than 24 hours after I started doing it. So if you can see that one kind of in the middle, it has the radical emerging from the seed. And this was less than 24 hours. It germinated that quickly. This is after 2 days. Those are inch-long radicals. So it works really quickly. Yesterday was the 3rd day, so this is only day 3, and you can see those green leaves are already growing. Today is the 4th day, and there are a lot of sprouts with green leaves. They're kind of small, so I'll probably wait a couple days to harvest. But so this is a sprout from the bottle. Look at that. So that's about ready to eat. I'll probably wait another day just until they all get their 2 green leaves. So 2 green leaves, they're ready to eat. So to harvest your sprouts from a plastic bottle, you need a clean pair of kitchen shears. And you're just gonna cut off the top. And then you can dump out your sprouts into a clean container. And you can store your sprouts in that container for up to 5 days in the refrigerator. And again, don't eat them if they have a smell. They shouldn't have, they should not have a yucky smell. It should just smell like water. And yeah, our noses are really good at telling us if something's not good to eat. So trust your nose. So that's my method for growing sprouts. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something today. If anyone has questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Or if you think of something later, you can ask a master gardener. So that's our office number, and that's our email address. If you want to come into the office, you can call and ask, make an appointment. That's our office address. We're located right next to the Bull Run Library near Costco. We are also at the Manassas Farmers Market every Saturday. That's the address. And then the Dale City Farmers Market every Sunday. We have a lot of knowledgeable master gardeners that can talk to you about growing your own food. And we have fun stuff to give away, like activity books and bookmarks and free seeds even. Yeah, there are a lot of, YouTubers and bloggers out there who do sprouting. You can try their methods and learn from them. But don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes. There's a lot of learning when you make mistakes. So thank you again, everyone. I wish you all the best of luck with your growing. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and we can talk.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, I came a little late to the meeting, and so I didn't get the info on like the type of seeds. Can we sprout like beans that come from a bag, like black beans and kidney beans? Is that something that we can do too?
That's a good question. So no, you need to get a specific sprouting seed. So the ones I have, it says sprouting seeds, grow your own organic sprouts. And then, this says sprouts, and beans. So I know that, I can eat these sprouts. So yeah, good question. Make sure it's a specific sprouting seed.
Thanks.
Okay, yes, I see a hand. If you want to unmute yourself.
I have a garden on our deck, but I do it on my deck because animals go down when we plant them down in our backyard. The animals come and eat them, so we keep them here. Like once we planted sunflower seeds and put them there in the soil, and the animals ate them. Then there was an Earth Day plant thingy from there, then they ate that, so I had to keep everything here. We planted some chilies and peppers and green beans. Those are already getting flowers, and yeah, that means soon the beans are gonna come. Yeah.
Wow, yum! That's really exciting. Yeah. That's a lot.
And then and then I have a strawberry plant and a blackberry plant. I have cilantros, in which I already put in my food. We keep plucking them every day, because they're ready to eat. And I have a giant tomato plant, a big one, with a giant tomato growing, and it's good. And looks like soon it's gonna become ripe.
Wow, that's really exciting.
And one more thing. We have something called moon dal, and we use it to make sprouts. So, is that okay if I can do it in this?
Is that lentils?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, lentils.
I have sprouted lentils before. Yeah, they just take a little bit longer because they're so hard when they start out. You have to start.
I'm talking about this. You see the black stuff?
You have to start a little bit longer.
Yeah. So before you make those ventilation holes, soak those seeds in enough water to cover it and let them soak for 12 hours at least.
This is how we actually do it. First, we soak water in for a few days, and then we put them in the sprout maker, and then they grow, and then when they get a little good, then we start eating them.
Wow, great. Do you eat them raw, or do you cook with them?
Yeah.
You cook with them?
Yeah, sometimes. My dad sometimes does it. He puts lentil in our stuff, and sometimes he adds broccoli to it too sometimes. He puts it with gravy sometimes too.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. That's a great garden you have. You'll have to come to the Master Gardener booth at the farmer's market and talk to us about your garden. We could learn something from you.
Oh, I'll love to do that. All right.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
I have a couple questions for you guys. Let's see. Did you learn something new today? Can you raise your hand if you learned something new today?
I did.
Okay. 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 That's everybody learned something new. How about, what did you learn? Can you tell us what you learned today? That was new?
Me?
Seeds have belly buttons. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, some seeds you can see it really clearly, but others it'll look kind of just like a dimple. It doesn't look like an obvious mark. But yeah, we're not so different.
Well, I learned one of the steps. I'm going to tell you one of the steps. First, I'm writing it down so I remember. So the first thing I knew about it was actually you had to rinse a whole water bottle like this with nice warm water and soap, and it has to be rinsed nicely to put bleach and scrub it to sanitize it, otherwise bacteria will go into the sprouts. I learned many other things after that too.
Right.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Hey, Elaine, what did you learn? Is there something you learned?
Me. Her?
Oh, who are you?
Well, I'm Elaine. This one's Allison.
Allison, what did you learn?
What did you learn?
Nothing.
What? We were late. Do you know how to sprout beans and seeds?
I watched you do it.
Well, but
That's okay.
no,
Especially with the potatoes. Especially with
but that's different. Those are vegetables. We're talking about seeds.
Who's gonna grow sprouts? Raise your hand if you're gonna grow sprouts. Oh, Mrs. Rodriguez is gonna grow sprouts. Okay, everybody's gonna grow sprouts.
I didn't know they had
And
so
what are you
much
gonna eat them on?
activity. That's
What
so
are you gonna-
cool.
What are you gonna eat them on, Lily?
I don't know. Maybe salad?
Salads, yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
Okay. Any other questions that you have? Jess or anybody else in the class? Lily, yeah.
Lily.
How hard is it to grow an apple tree?
Wow.
Oh.
That depends.
Uh,
You could do a dwarf apple tree if you
What's
have
that?
a backyard. You know, if you have a smaller backyard, a dwarf apple tree would work. It's just, you know, researching and putting in the time to take care of it and asking your master gardener, ask your local extension office. That's a great
you can get a 1-year-old tree. It's called a whip. And that's the best way to start it. And then you have to make sure that you dig a hole the correct size and then put it in and make sure it gets water every week. And it'll take several years.
Yeah, so it's a lesson in patience. You have to wait for the fruits of your labor. But yeah, that would be a really cool, you know, growing project. So
Yeah.
does anybody else does anybody else have a garden? Lily, do you grow other fruits or vegetables?
Yes. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it, but I have like garden.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
my tomatoes are starting to ripen already. So I had a couple tomatoes yesterday. My first fruits from the garden.
The question is, how long does it take for an apple tree to become ripe?
I see Elaine and Janice also have their hands up. Sorry.
I have a garden.
Oh, what do you grow in your garden?
Corn, tomatoes, cabbage, onions,
Wow, that sounds really good.
pepper,
And peppers, yes.
spinach,
Wow.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you. Are you interested in growing sprouts too? Okay, great. Are you interested in growing sprouts, Janice, to go with all your other vegetables?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so one thing to remember, sprouts, these can have more nutrients than the fully grown plants. So that's another good thing that we learned, right? And Elaine, what about your garden? Allison, right?
Yeah.
My mom grows lots of potatoes and beans and you do onions too, right?
Onions,
The peppers?
peppers, and
And a lot of the times I like to eat her onions.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Wow, you all have a huge variety of crops growing. That's awesome. Good. Did you have any other questions about growing sprouts? This is being recorded, so you can, watch it again later. Just Google it, how to grow sprouts. That's something, a lot of gardeners do. We Google it, we research.
So if you put VCE Prince William YouTube, you can see this whole presentation again. It probably won't be up until next week though. We have a lot of other videos on there for you too.
Yeah.
Can we send that link out to them? Judith, do you have emails for everybody?
I do. Yes, I could send that link out. I'd be happy to do that. And those of you who weren't at the beginning will get you all caught up. She talked about sunflower seeds. So that sounds so yummy. Yes, we'll do that. I can do that for you.
Great, thank you. Miss Judith has her own little garden with her right now, if you all want to see.
We're growing sprouts at the library. And these, the healthy ones are radishes. They didn't take any time at all to grow, just like that. It was very gratifying. We have some parsley. It's a little bit weak. And the onions didn't take off at all, so I put some chives in instead. We'll see what happens. It's so easy.
Yeah, so that's in the front window at Dale City Library.
No, Dumfries. I've got it, Dumfries.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Come and see us. We have seeds to give away as well.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Judith.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? But I think we'll wrap it up then, and we'll post this on YouTube so you can see it. I'll send the link. We're really glad that you joined us. Both the libraries and the Virginia Cooperative Extension have lots of programs, so watch for us.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Good luck with your gardens. They sound really amazing. And we hope to see you all at the farmers market.
Bye.
Bye.